Hello, everybody, and welcome to PD Teleconnect and Telehealth. This is Cindy in Spokane. It's nice to see everybody during April Parkinson's Awareness Month. Very happy to see you all here and to have our speakers today talking about coping with a new disease diagnosis. Real quick, I want to get on our website really fast, because sometimes, due to human error, and often it is mine, we have this glitch where postcards don't go out. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later today too. But I just wanted to show you our website if you haven't already been on it. One, because it's pretty cool. And you might recognize some people here that you see. Oh, Walt and Shirley. Hi, Walt and Shirley. But I wanted to show you on our website, if you go up here to PD Telehealth and 2015 schedule, when I have speakers booked out, as soon as I have them on my schedule, I go to this page and I add them. So if there's a month where you haven't received your postcard and you have a way to get on either on your smartphone, this website works really well on smartphones, or if you can get on the computer and look up telehealth, you can find out what the next month is and hopefully more months out as they get booked. Or you can call us at 509-443-3361, or email me. And actually, I'm working on sending out reminders before telehealth on email, and if that's something that you're interested in, I usually try and send those out 2 or 3 weeks before the next telehealth. So if you email me at center@SpokaneParkinsons.org, that goes right to me, and I'll record your information and add you to that list. But I just wanted to show that really quick because it's good to show off a little bit when we have something we like. So, and then there's also Parkinson's 101, the program schedule too for the month, and there's a lot of really great activities. So thank you for indulging me for just a second. Today we are welcoming. Well, actually, Ian, did you want to talk for a moment? Okay, well, first, I would like to introduce our new president of the Parkinson's Resource Center Board of Directors. He took over from John Cahill, who's not here today, but first we just want to say thank you to John. John did it for 2 years, and he handed over the presidency for the PRC at the beginning of March. And Ian, just take a couple seconds, and then we'll introduce our speakers.
Hello everybody, and thank you Cindy for all of the work that you do. Cindy makes the PRC run, just so everybody knows. I'm going in the well-dressed department today, so I apologise for my bad t-shirt, but as a fundraising opportunity, this is a perfect lead-in. The PRC, as you know, is here to serve you and the people that have got Parkinson's. I have Parkinson's disease, so I know what it's like. It's a tough one to battle with, but we all battle on. But we are trying to make sure that all of the events that we have scheduled this year will be not only successful, but also we want to raise as much money as possible to make sure that the services that we offer can not only improve but continue. And I know the biggest thing that people may not be aware of is that now that we've moved locations, the cost of running the PRC is dramatically larger than it used to be. So what I would love to ask everybody to do is to sort of, look at your own ability to support the PRC in some way, either via a donation. You can get onto the website and donate there, but what we're trying to encourage people to do is to do a monthly $10 a month. And if you were able to just donate that small amount, it would make the PRC function so much better. So I ask all of you to reach into your pockets and come up with a way that you may be able to assist. And I'm sure if you have any other questions, Cindy would be able to answer those without any problem at all. I know we have 2 great speakers lined up today, so I'd like to thank you both for coming up and giving us some help. And that's pretty much all I can say. And thank you very much, and enjoy telehealth. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you. And actually, while you're talking about the website, one more time, home and make a donation. That's one way. But I have to say that while we definitely, it's more expensive to do what we do without the people here in the room and without many people over the last 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, this place wouldn't still be here, and it's because of the people here in the room who've donated to us in the past. So thank you very much. Okay, so today we're going to talk about being diagnosed with a disease and how to cope with that. And are you putting that up for me? Thank you. And our first speaker is Elizabeth Daniels, and you've seen her here once before last fall, and she has been a psychotherapist in a private practice for 17 years where she works with individuals and couples and groups. She also leads workshops on a variety of topics in mind and health consultant for small businesses. And today she will be sharing information on the psychological and emotional aspects of how to deal with the news of being diagnosed with an illness and how to move forward in a positive direction. And as a little side note that I'm adding, she just introduced our first Men as Caregivers support group meeting last week, and it's moving forward, and so hopefully our Men as Caregivers can come do that. But please help me welcome Elizabeth Daniels. Okay, so we're gonna just see if we can. He's gonna adjust the screen. Okay. You might be writing on blue.
Oh, that would not be good.
No. You have your microphone?
I do.
You have your water?
Can everyone hear me? You can hear me. Okay.
Did you turn it on?
Yeah.
Scratch it for me.
It's on.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
Okay.
We have a little tiny thing up there you could use too, but I don't want you to use that, the board.
Okay. If it doesn't work, I'm going to go up there and pull that power cord.
Can we hold the chair for you?
Yeah, well,
Okay. Technology surgery, just one moment.
Hey, it works. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. As Cindy said, my name's Elizabeth Daniels. And when she asked me to do a talk on how to cope with recently being diagnosed with an illness and how to move forward into the future in a positive way, I was very excited to talk on that topic. And the first thing that came to my mind was Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and her 5 stages of grief and loss. Has anyone heard of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross? So for some of you, this might be a review. But I thought, talking about the 5 stages of grief and loss could be helpful and maybe even relieve some of the emotional distress that people are feeling, but it's not going to give them a foundation of power, empowerment, and strength to move into the future. Because there needs to be some sense of meaning for what we're going through, especially when we're faced with challenges as devastating sometimes as an illness. So today I'm not just speaking about Parkinson's, but cancer, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, any kind of illness that makes our life different than we thought it would be in the future. So first, let's just talk about the stages of grief and loss, and then I'm going to tie that to the foundation that I think will be helpful to help move into the future in a positive way. So the first stage that Elizabeth talks about is denial. Now, these 5 stages don't go in any particular order. I'm just putting them in this order for the sake of discussion. So denial, we find out we're diagnosed with something, and the first thing we might do, unless we have been suffering with symptoms and we're like relieved that now we know what the problem is, but if we don't, if we're just going along in our daily life and then we feel symptoms and we go to the doctor and the doctor says, this is what you have, it could feel hard to believe that this is really what's going on with me. And we might say, and go on with our lives as if that isn't even something that's happening to us, until something happens that really puts it in our face that you cannot move forward any longer. You do have this illness, and you have to take care of it. The next one could be bargaining. And bargaining, you might find yourself saying, oh my gosh, I have this disease. Please, God, I'll do anything if you can reverse time and make it go away. I'll eat all vegetables. I'll do anything. And this is when we're bargaining, and we think maybe we can change it if we're just good enough, or if we do this differently or something. And then there's anger. And this can be followed by depression. And I spoke last spring, I think it was in the spring or early summer, about how anger and depression are associated with one another. But we can be angry at ourselves. We can be, if we're spiritual, we can be angry at God. We can be, then that can move into depression and hopelessness, and we can teeter back and forth between these and all three of these, and maybe even be in denial again about what's going on. And then there's acceptance, and there's one more, 5. So then there's acceptance. And then we accept where we're at, and we decide to move forward. But at any given moment, we could fling back to any of these. Now, we can skip some of these too. We don't have to go through all of these. Does everyone recognize that they've been through these steps? Now, this is about grief and loss. So it doesn't matter if it's a future that we're anticipating that we're losing, the future we envisioned ourselves living, or if it's losing our purse or our car keys. What she says is we go through these. It doesn't matter what the loss or how big the loss is. So when we're doing this, we can actually feel like we're going crazy, because we can flip. 1 minute we can feel really sad and depressed and despondent, and then we can feel hopeful, and we flip around. So we can actually feel like we're going crazy, but we're not. It's a natural thing to be doing. So although this might be helpful to understand, I think the foundation of thinking about these in a particular way is helpful. How many of you have heard of Joseph Campbell? One of the things he created, he was a mythologist, and he's known for his study of comparative religions and comparative mythology. And what he saw when he studied cultures around the world is that the heroes in these stories had sort of a theme and a progression of a journey that they all took. And he called it the hero's journey. And since I'm a woman, I like to add heroine's journey in there too. But I'll call it hero's journey for today. So the first step of this hero's journey is there's 3 sections of the journey. The first one is the ordinary world. The next section is the special world. And the final one, I like to just call it the improved world. That's not what he calls it. I think he just calls it a new ordinary world. So the hero goes through 3 stages. So the ordinary world, I like to say it's pre-diagnosis, before the diagnosis. And the special world is once you admit, I'm out of denial and I do have this illness. So this is dealing with the diagnosis. And this is the improved world that comes from having survived this special world. So in the first stage of the hero's journey is that the hero lives in an ordinary world. So this is what your life was before you were diagnosed, or before the challenge, or before the call to action, is what Joseph Campbell calls it. So you have the call to action, and usually the hero refuses the call. They don't want to go. They don't want to take on this challenge. And that's similar to the denial that we feel in Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 Stages of Grief and Loss. So there's the call to action, and they usually refuse the call. Now, I recently watched a YouTube video through TED Talks. Has anyone heard of TED Talks? And it was a woman called Janine. Here I have this. I'm going to hand this out with her information on it at the end of my talk. Janie Shepherd. And Janie Shepherd lived in Australia, and she was training for the Olympics in cross-country skiing. And she went on a training expedition with her other teammates, and they bicycled through the woods and through the mountains. And she reports riding through the woods, and suddenly she just felt overwhelmed with joy, and she was experiencing the sun on her face, breathing the fresh mountain air, and all of a sudden everything went black. And what happened to her was that a truck was out of control and hit her. And she found herself in the hospital. She had broken 7 ribs. She broke her back in 3 places, crushed some vertebra. She had an open, gaping wound on her abdomen. Her scalp was peeled back, and she goes on and on to talk about all the things that had happened to her. And she was in the hospital, and they were working on her, and she said that she was teetering between 2 worlds, this world and another world. And she was looking down at her body, and she said, I don't want to go back to that body. It's useless. It's broken up. It's no good. It's not going to work for me. I want to leave. But she said she heard a voice that kept saying, no, go ahead. I can't remember her exact words, but it was something like, no, go back. It'll be good. Go ahead. You want to stay there. So she said she went back into her body, and she thought, I'm just going to face whatever comes. And this is the call to action. She was refusing the call, but then she accepted the call. She said, okay, I'm going to go back in my body. So at that moment, she entered the special world. She's going to take on the challenge of dealing with her body in the condition that it was now in. So she accepts the call. And now what happens is mentors will appear for us, people who will help us, whether they're teachers, doctors, wise men or women. This usually happens in the movies. You'll see the wise man or old wise woman show up to help the hero on their journey, give them tips, give them directions, and support them. So for her, it was her doctors and her parents and friends. So now once the mentor's here, eventually the mentor's going to leave, and we're just going to be on our own to go through this journey through the special world. And then we end up in the stage where we have tests, we have friends, and we have enemies that we have to fight or conquer or get through. Now these tests could be anything, any trouble that you find you're up against. The friends, these are people who are going to stick by you, that will help you, that will be sort of your partner on the journey, that you can count on. And then there's enemies, people that get in your way. And in Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey, there's things called threshold guardians. And threshold guardians are things that get in our way that make it difficult for us to get through the journey. And they could be our own limiting beliefs, our own negative assessment of ourselves. I'm just going to get my sheet here. And that's where these bargaining, the anger and the depression come in. We really feel like we're going crazy here. Things are hitting us. We're confused. We don't know the process of the journey. We're learning, where to go, what to do, who's going to help us, who's going to fight us, who's going to get in our way. So some tips that we need to know here to help us through this time of the journey is we want to share our emotions with other people. And to remember that any emotion we have is normal, and that's what makes us human. If we're meant to feel rage and to feel panicked and to feel intense fear and then to feel happy and joyful. Those are all natural human emotions that are normal to feel. So you want to know that whatever you're feeling is normal, and you want to reach out to people and get some support at this time. Also, you want to look at what are my thoughts, because those could be the enemies. Our enemies can be our thoughts, telling us our life will never get better. This is the end for me. I'm never going to be able to do this thing I've always wanted to do. And for Janine, she wanted to be in the Olympics. And she realized that she's not going to be doing that. And so her life was flipped upside down. And during this time, she went home from the hospital in a body cast, a full body cast. And she was there with her mother, she said, in the bedroom. And her mother said to her, "I wonder if our lives will ever be normal and happy again." And at that point, she felt at her deepest level of despair. And that's ordeal. And that's when you hit the ordeal part of the journey in the special world. It's the place where you lose all hope of ever recovering, and you can even think of suicide as a possibility, which I'm sure that Janine did at one point. So what you need to do here is to think back on a time when you felt the same or similar way, and notice how you got through that and you made it through that time, the darkest point. Carolyn Mace also talks about the dark night of the soul. Has anyone heard about that? And that's where you want to just hold on and keep going. This in movies is where you're in the dungeon and there's no way out. You're trapped, and you wonder, will the heroine or hero survive, or will they die? And you just want to hold on and make it through, and something always shows up to save them, right? Well, in Janine's case, what happened is she was looking outside, laying on her bed looking outside, and she saw a plane fly by, and she thought, oh, I'm going to fly. That's what I'm going to do. Well, she's in a body cast, but I guess she called up, and she looked in the yellow pages, and she found a flying school, and she said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn how to fly. And so her mother supported her. They're like, oh, we don't know if she's going to do this. But they take her to the flying school, and she's in her body cast, and she goes up in the plane, and she actually gets her pilot's license eventually, and then she becomes a flight instructor. So she's teaching people to fly, and then one day she says, I want to fly upside down. I think I want to fly upside down. So she learned how to do that, and now she's an aerobatic flight instructor. She teaches people how to do aerobatic flying. And during this TED Talk, she was standing and she was walking, and she would move from chair to chair to talk about this process she went through. So she took herself from here, and that plane arrived. And to me, that's that thing that, well, the key that you find buried or something to get you out of the dungeon. So think about that for yourself when you're in this deepest, darkest part of whatever challenge you're facing. Just relax, breathe, and something will just fly by. Or you'll just think of something that will be inspirational, and you want to follow that dream or that thought. So then what happens is we come over here, and then we have a reward. This is in the hero's journey. There's a reward. And for Janine, you can see her reward was she had a new dream. She was never going to be an Olympic athlete. That was off the table. But she had a new dream, one that she would have never imagined that she'd be doing. And then there's a thing called the elixir, and that's sort of the lesson. It could be whatever it is that now feeds your soul to move forward. So it could be a regained sense of connection with your family. It could be patience that you've never had before, but now you can see the world in a different way because you've slowed down. Or it could be a whole new career, a whole new life that you never ever could have imagined when you were here in the ordinary world, and it's so much better, actually. So this is the hero's journey. And I thought by telling the hero's journey and then adding it to these things that we would experience naturally when we lose something, that together they might give us all a way to see any challenges that we're going through in our life. And I have some little slips here with 3 YouTube videos that you might find inspiring, and one of them is hers. If you could pass this back. I hope my talk has been helpful today, and I'll return the meeting to Cindy.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I was hiding in back. Sorry, it took me a moment to get up. The YouTube videos that Elizabeth, the slip of paper that she just handed out, I will put that on the website, on that page where I showed you the schedule. I'll actually put these 3, if that's okay with you, Elizabeth, as a link on there. And then our next speaker has a handout that I'm also going to put a link on there so that you can print that out at home if you go on the website. But now I'd like to introduce Sabrina Gonder. She is a board-certified health coach and certified corporate wellness specialist and has been in the healthcare field for the past 18 years. She specializes in digestive health, working with clients one-on-one in a corporate setting, and teaching workshops. Today, she will speak on how to turn on a body's natural relaxed state to help your body cope. And can I tell them about breaking the sugar addiction? On Wednesday, Sabrina is helping us kick off our inaugural workshop at the PRC. We're going to start having workshops outside of just our educational living well with Parkinson's, and this one will be breaking the sugar addiction. It's a 1-hour workshop at 5:30 on Wednesday night at the Parkinson's Resource Center. This time we won't be filming it, but we're going to try to film future ones for those who are not in Spokane. And it's $10 per person, and we have some space left, and so we'd love to have you join us. But please welcome Sabrina. Are you going to use this one or that?
I'm going to use that one.
Awesome. Then
For some reason, I'm feeling taller than last time.
Well, it moves.
I tried last time. I just had challenges, so I have taller shoes on.
We were taller shoes. Okay.
Thank you, Cindy. Elizabeth, that was wonderful. I appreciate it very much. I hope that all of you got a lot out of that. Our bodies are amazing, aren't they? When we give our bodies what they need, they often can heal. Not all the time, but often they can. So if they're not healing, going through what Elizabeth shared is really powerful information. And so I think that was great. So I want to talk to you about stress and how stress affects the body. And you probably all know that we cannot eliminate stress. It is part of life. So let's learn how to best deal with it is how I look at it. And I'm going to give you some tips and tools around that. We have an autonomic nervous system, which is responsible for our involuntary functions, such as our parasympathetic and our sympathetic nervous systems. So the parasympathetic nervous system starts with a P. So the way I remember that is that's more the peaceful state that we want to be in most of the time. The sympathetic nervous system starts with an S, and stress starts with an S. So that's how I remember that the sympathetic nervous system is the stressful state of being, which we want to be in the least amount of time. So another way is the parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and our digest state. So we definitely want to be in our parasympathetic state when we're eating so that our digestion works properly. Sympathetic, you've probably heard fight or flight. That's a common term. That's when we're in our sympathetic state, which is, it does serve us. There are definite times when we want that to be kicking in. It can be a false sense, however. Let's say somebody's playing a joke on you and there's a plastic spider. You can kick into your sympathetic nervous system, but it truly is just a gimmick or a joke or something like that. So it definitely has a purpose, but sometimes it'll kick in unnecessarily. So for some people, doing what I'm doing right now would kick in their sympathetic nervous system, because some people fear speaking more than they do death. So luckily, I'm not one of those people. But my heart rate is faster than it would be when I'm sitting in the back, and my pupils might be dilated, and different bodily functions. There's basically 8 different functions that our body goes through when we go into these different states, and they're the opposites. So I was just going to share a few of those with you. So when you're in your parasympathetic nervous system state, which is where we want to be most of the time, our pupils are constricted versus being dilated. Our salivary glands get stimulated. Our heartbeat slows down. So that's that rest state. Our lungs constrict. Our digestion gets stimulated, which is a very good thing. Our liver gets stimulated for digestion. We have better secretion in our intestines, and our bladder contracts. So those are 8 main functions of being in that rest and digest state. We also have our opposite, which is when we're in sympathetic and our pupils are dilated. Think about any time you've been afraid. If somebody were to cut you off in traffic, or if sometimes we go into a sympathetic nervous response for no reason. For some of us, it's when we think our spouse is mad at us. They're not, but we have this sense that they are, and so that sympathetic nervous system can kick in. Maybe it's a dear friend of yours that you're fearful that is upset with you as well. And so our body goes through these just automatic responses they're involuntary. So it's really important to be aware of how your body's responding and to what. And then there are some tools that I'll give you to help you around that. It's really interesting, too, that stress is a perception of a threat, even if it's not real. So that spider, even though that spider isn't real, if you have a fear or a phobia of spiders, that is a real threat to you, that little guy. So the good thing is we have control over stress, because it's something that happens in us, not to us. So think about that for a minute. It happens in us, not to us. So keep that in mind when you're going through your day and having responses to things. That gives you the power back. So we know how it affects our body. Now, would you like some techniques to manage it? Great. Okay, so I've got some fun tips. Some of these may be familiar to you, and hopefully some of them are new. The first one is active relaxation. So we can plop down in front of the TV, but that's not truly active relaxation. Active relaxation is things like deep breathing, Tai Chi, yoga, things like that, depending on what speaks to you as an active relaxation. For some people, it's taking a bath. That could be very relaxing. Learning something new. How many of you have ever taken a class to learn something new, or even just meeting somebody new to have a new experience? So that can really lower a person's stress. The third one is to move our body. I don't call it exercise, I call it movement, just because some people have a little mental block around the word exercise. It can be gardening, it could be cleaning your house, it could be a walk, anything that gets your body moving. There's actually been studies showing that exercise works equal or better to pharmaceutical drugs for treating depression. Now, I wouldn't tell anybody to go off their medication. You definitely need to talk to your doctor and work with your doctor. However, exercise is that powerful, or movement is that powerful. Another item that could be something to look into is possibly supplementing. You may be deficient in some vitamins, and some of the key vitamins are vitamin C, B, and then a multivitamin. So that could be something that you're lacking. Yes?
I just read something recently that people with Parkinson's are deficient in thiamine.
In thiamine? So that's really interesting. So again, those are things that I would recommend you check with your physician with so you can get those tested. Injections for thiamine. Okay. That's really interesting. So there's a lot of new research coming out all the time. I'm learning all the time too, because Parkinson's is kind of a newer thing. The last year that I started looking into it and learning more about it. So anything that you can look into and find that can help you along the way, that's fantastic. And sometimes the truth is we just can't get everything from our food. So ideally, that's where you'd get your nutrients and your vitamins. But when you can't, then sometimes it's best to look for other sources. Getting a new point of view. Sometimes challenging yourself or looking at something in a different way, that can be difficult on your own. So a lot of times we get that help from friends and loved ones who might suggest that there's another way of doing something or looking at something. And I know I appreciate that. I can get in my rut of thinking. Laughter. How many of you know laughter is the best medicine? So if you're having a hard time, get a hold of that friend that makes you laugh. Put that Lucille Ball movie in, whatever it is that makes you laugh and giggle. And it just has a great effect, positive effect on the body and on your stress levels. Meditation is another great way, and meditation can be done many, many ways. I have a 1-minute meditation up to a 45-minute meditation that I've been exposed to. And meditation looks different for different people. So sometimes it's just being quiet for a few minutes and being alone. For other people, it's a definite pattern of thought that they need to go through. And so that's very effective for reducing stress. Sleep is incredibly important as well. So lack of sleep is something that we can't catch up on our sleep. And a lot of people think, well, I'll just catch up tomorrow on that sleep. And we really need 7 to 8 quality hours of sleep every night. And I am a firm believer in naps. So if you didn't get enough sleep and you're tired, then take a nap. If I had a corporation, I would have nap pods in my lunchroom or break room, because I just think that they're that important. The next one is deep breathing. And I have a really fun exercise that I would like to share with you if you're willing to try it. It's Dr. Andrew Wilde's 4-7-8 breathing technique, and it's extremely powerful for reducing stress and helping you to fall asleep. Does anybody have trouble falling asleep? You're all, yeah, a couple of you? Okay, so would you like to try that exercise? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it, and then I'll walk you through it. And what you do is that I'm going to expel all my air. Then I'm going to breathe in for four counts, basically 4 seconds. I'm going to hold for 7, and I'm going to breathe out for 8. And when I do that, I'm putting my tongue behind my top front 2 teeth, and I'm kind of pursing my lips a little bit. I'll show you. And that is a yogic breath, and it's important to do it that way. He didn't explain the why. I've kind of tried to research that, but it works, so I kind of believe him. So I'm going to just do it for you really quickly. Does that make sense? So you're going to expel all the air, close your mouth, breathe in for 4, hold for 7, breathe out for 8 with that tongue behind those front 2 teeth. Do you want to try, or do you want me to do it one more time? One more time. Okay. So I'm going to breathe out my air. Does that make sense? So what you would do 4 sets of that, and the biggest importance around this is that you would do it at least twice a day. So if you do this twice a day for 4 sets for a month, you will have a very decreased amount of stress, and it'll definitely help you with sleeping if that's an issue for you, or falling asleep. All right, so expel the air from your mouth, then close your mouth and breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, release 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's that simple. Did everybody get a chance to do it? Okay. I can also give you the link to that. There's also a video you can watch. I have used that with a lot of my clients, and they really find that it really helps. You can do it when you're in line at the grocery store. You can do it when you're driving. You can do it, and people won't even know what you're doing. So if you find that stress level escalating in your body, you can do that type of breathing technique. There's many out there, but this one has just been really powerful for people. It's Andrew Wile's 478, and that's just the numbers, so it makes it easy to remember. The next one I want to point out is, and Elizabeth touched on this, and that's being in community. So I love that you get together once a month, and you get together other times, and you have similar things in common, and you have a beautiful Parkinson's Resource Center where you can come together and you can share together and be in community. And that's really important for lowering that stress level. And then the last one I want to mention is gratitude. And I'm very grateful to be here today, and I'm grateful for all of you, and Cindy, you as well. Thank you so much. When you're in gratitude, it's pretty hard to be stressed out. So some days it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to be grateful for, but generally we can find something. And if it's not within ourselves, it could be somebody else out there that we're grateful for or grateful to. There's just a lot of wonderful things to be grateful and thankful for. So again, thank you for having me. And on the sheet that will be passed out, there's a list of some foods that are very helpful for combating stress. And so there's everything from raspberries to walnuts listed on there. So if you like some of those foods, you might consider incorporating those into your diet as well. Thank you.
And I just posted it up to the website.
Oh, great. Great. It's on the website too. Yeah, cacao is.
Yeah, actually, and we're gonna do our regular question and answer period, and so Elizabeth and Sabrina, I might have you come back up. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, technology, it has its moments where we just unplugged the projector, but in the time space of those talks, I just posted via my phone onto a computer, onto the website, the flyer that that Sabrina just mentioned, and so, woo, you know. Yeah, thanks. So some days they work right. So Anchorage, Alaska, it looks like you have a connection in today. How many people are here today, and do you have any questions?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people today. 6 people. You may have questions? Questions? No questions.
Thank you very much for being there today. It's nice to see you all.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Billings, Montana, how are you today?
There are 3. No question.
Okay, and I'm going to repeat.
Oh,
I think I heard 3 people today and no questions at this time.
correct.
Thank you for being there. Clarkston, normally Tri-State Memorial, but Clarkston, Lewiston.
There's 5 of us here. No questions.
Thank you for adjusting to the site today, and we really appreciate you being flexible and changing over to the site there in Lewiston. And yeah, if you want to go for a really nice drive on Saturday, and you're from here in Spokane or in the area, drive down to Lewiston, to the Lewiston Civic Theater. They are doing a all-day fundraiser at the Lewiston Civic Theater. All the proceeds go to help the Parkinson's Resource Center and the LC Valley Resource Center that John and Tammy Smith run from their business down in Clarkston. And besides the beautiful drive, it's a whole heck of a lot of fun to go down and watch all these performers. They all perform for free. So a little advertising. I'm glad I remembered that. So I don't get to go this year, but hopefully you can make the trip.
Thank you.
Thanks. Coeur d'Alene.
We have 8 people and no questions.
Thank you very much, Coeur d'Alene. Are you warming up that lake for me? Sorry, I put you on
Not much yet.
Thanks. Thank you for being there. Colfax? Colville, Mount Carmel. Pendleton?
Just one here today.
And it's never just one. Thank you very much for being there and joining us today. And
Yes, Sue's gone today.
Sue is gone. Well, thank you for being there today and running the show in the library.
Okay.
See you soon. Port Townsend, Jefferson Healthcare.
I think they just hung up, Cindy, but I think they had 5.
Thank you very much. And Pullman Regional Hospital.
We have 4, and we have a question regarding the how to beat the sugar addiction.
What was your question about that? Do you have a specific question or do you want some more information?
More information?
Okay, more about when it happens and the time?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so it's Wednesday afternoon, evening at 5:30 at the Parkinson's Resource Center. We still have space available. It's $10 per person. Sabrina is going to be leading that workshop. It's a 1-hour workshop, and we hope to have more of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You guys take care. And would like to welcome Richland at the Cadleck Neuroscience Center. This is their first time dialing in with us. Thank you very much for being here. What we do at this time is we go through each of our sites, ask them how many people are here today, and if they have any questions. Cadleck, do you have any questions? Maybe. Uh-oh.
I don't. Hold on. We'll get here.
I think since this is a new one for Cadleck, they're not on, but we're very excited to have them on. And
Yeah, they're actually here. Can you guys see Cadleck? Hello there in
hi,
Cadleck.
Cadleck. Hi, welcome. Did you have any questions?
think your mic may be muted there in Cadillac. We're not hearing you.
There we go. I can hear a little bit in the room. While they're figuring that out, if you're in the Tri-Cities and have a moment to go by the Cadillac Neuroscience Center, pretty dang incredible. They have a lot of services in one area. They have a huge resource library, not just for Parkinson's, but all of the neurological disorders that you can think of, and a lot of other things that are really helpful. So we'll figure out that part. Since they're new, we'll figure out how that goes. Tonasket, North Valley Hospital. Walla Walla, Providence, St. Mary's.
This is Tonasket.
Oh, yes. Hi,
Walla
Tonasket.
One present, no
Okay.
questions.
Thank you. And Tonasket, I think I heard you in there.
Yes, there are 3 of us today, and there's no questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being there. Okay, Spokane.
Spokane has 19, and we do have questions.
Okay.
My question is, St. Luke's affiliated with any of the programs offered by Gonzaga University?
Like the Dance for Parkinson or other programs?
Parkinson's.
So St. Luke's, they know about our program, but that program is part of the Parkinson's Resource Center. And we're always happy to be here every month, but they partner with us to bring this program, but they're not part of our other programs. St. Luke's, not yet. We're working on it. It's a good question. Did you have any other questions?
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Shirley?
Yeah, you're having that breaking the sugar addiction. Is sugar bad for Parkinson's or something?
What they find, and Sabrina needs to correct me in things, because we could be up here for a whole class between the two of them, but sugar's not very good for some people. And so it's, but other people, my dad has many issues, but sugar is not one of them. So some people find that reducing the amount of sugar in their diets helps them with their symptoms, and that's what Sabrina talks about. Did I answer that last part right? Okay, thank you.
Cindy, we also have folks in Moses Lake. That we didn't
Moses Lake, I skipped you. How did I do that?
We were just going to call you. There's 11 of us, and we don't have any questions.
Moses Lake, thank you very much. I apologize. I think I skipped right over the M's for some reason. Thank you for being there. Miles City, Montana, did I get you guys? They might have dialed off. Okay.
Miles City, we have 11 and one dog.
The dog's there. So I have.
And we have one question.
Oh yes, go ahead.
One of the people. This relates to support. One of the people here asked if we contribute to the National Parkinson Fund. Does a portion of that come back to you?
There are many really good national Parkinson's organizations, and we work with them in that we help them advertise programs and things that they bring around. But the PRC here in Spokane is its own 501c3 nonprofit. We were founded here locally, and we are funded locally. If you donate to National Parkinson's Foundation, you are helping out for a lot of good things, but the money, none of the proceeds from that don't come directly to Spokane.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely.
That's all. That's all we have, I think.
Okay, thank you
we
so
may
much.
have some.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, we may have some folks in Billings.
Did we? Yep, we had Billings. We talked. There was 3 Billings.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. If they have any other questions. Cool. Thank you. I think that's it.
Cindy?
Yeah, did you have a question?
Jackie wanted me to remind folks that we have lots of cookies out here, and the proceeds from the sale of these cookies goes to the Parkinson's Resource Center. Well,
and on that note, if you go on our calendar for the month of April, there is a lot of really, really good activities. We have 4 new activities this month. We have the Men as Caregiver Support Group, Men's Coffee Group. That's the first time it happens tomorrow morning at 10 at the PRC. We have the Breaking the Sugar Addiction with Sabrina. We have a WSU it's a WSU talk happening on the 28th at the PRC that's part of a research project that they're doing at WSU, listening to a program about tools to use in your home, and then you help them with their research project. And then we have all kinds of things going on, and what's really great is there's those 4 new things, but if you look on the calendar, everything else is going every single month except for when we take a break during the summer. So just keep in mind there's lots of good things going on, and if you don't like dance, you might like singing. If you don't like singing, you might want to come listen to a program about sugar addiction, and if that's not quite your deal, we have a dinner for young onset. So there's lots of different options, and thank you very much for joining us every month, and if you have any questions or need anything, contact me. Thank you.